Should you buy now or should you wait until mortgage rates come down? And what are mortgage rate projections going to be into 2024? I should just name this video, hey, can you help me time the market? Because I know that's probably what a lot of people want me to do. But let me just get this out of the way. You cannot time markets. You cannot time interest rates, values. But what you can do is take a look at the data and make an informed decision with the data that you have now. First, let's tackle interest rates. The Federal Reserve has followed a restrictive monetary policy, which has led to rate hikes, which have trickled throughout the economy and led to higher rates, not just in mortgage rates but elsewhere, but certainly mortgage rates. The Fed has been looking for two key indicators to come down before they're going to loosen that monetary policy. They want the labor market to soften and they want inflation to come down. Let's look at the charts. The Fed looks at inflation through the Producer Consumption Expenditure Report, or PCE. The Fed started the first of their interest rate hikes in March of 2022, where you see inflation really aggressively rising. In particular, they want to get core PCE down, and generally at the 2% target. Core PCE strips out food and energy. And you can see from about the fourth quarter of 2022, we've been at a steady march downward. Another measure of inflation is the Consumer Price Index Report, or CPI, which measures the cost of goods for consumers, which are also sharply down since July of 2022. The other side of this coin is employment. The Fed wants to see the labor market soften, and this has been the metric that's been the most stubborn. In the face of inflation data clearly showing a reduction to more normal levels, employment numbers have been extremely hot until recently. So first, let's take a look at the JOLTS report, which measures job openings, where we saw a big ramp up until about July of 2022. Job openings have steadily been decreasing as employers are cutting positions and consolidating their workforce. For another look at employment, we have the ADP report, which measures job creations in the private sector, which have reached enormous highs in 2021 through 2022. And they started to recede here towards the end of 2023. At the same time, let's take a look at the unemployment rate, which obviously looks like it probably bottomed out in April of this year and might be on the upward swing. So we have the two major indicators that the Fed wants to tamp down: a hot labor market and also inflation, clearly showing signs of receding. Now, the Fed has been talking tough, but the market is starting to project some significant rate cuts in 2024 at the next Fed meetings. Let's take a look at the probability of those rate cuts. As you can see, we're probably not going to see anything towards the end of 2023 or in the beginning parts of 2024, but coming into the spring and summer, we're probably going to see some significant rate cuts, which is going to mean lower interest rates. Okay, so what do you do with this information as a potential home buyer? As we said before, you cannot time interest rates, you cannot time markets. However, we do know with a reasonable amount of certainty that interest rates will be going down, who knows how much, in 2024. The question is really one of supply and demand. We've seen millions of home buyers put their home buying plans on the shelf. Either they're not going to sell the home that they're in to buy the next one, or they're first-time home buyers who say, I'm just going to continue to rent. And they've put those plans on the shelf waiting for higher rates, either because they can't afford the home that they would really like, or they've just simply been priced out of the market completely. As interest rates come down, those home buyers re-enter the market and create more demand. Let's take a look at inventory. Here are the total active listings in the United States, and what you'll notice is that there is a seasonality to how much inventory comes in and on off the market throughout the year. But if we compare to, say, 2016, which most people would say was at least a healthier or at least a more normal market, we need to add about 1 million more homes just to reach those levels. In other words, inventory isn't coming back anytime soon, and when it does, it will be far from a crash. Let's take a look at home appreciations for this year. In the face of enormous interest rate increases, home prices appreciated on an average about 6 to 7% per year. This brings me to my advice for anybody who's looking to purchase, but they've been on the sidelines, either waiting for rates to come down, or even worse, they've said, oh, we're just gonna wait for a housing market crash. Look, if you're one of these people who's just convinced that a housing crash is going to come and it's all doom and gloom, I don't know what to tell you. I'm probably not going to convince you otherwise. So honestly, I'm just going to ignore that question because it's not data driven. But I do think that there are a significant amount of people who watch those videos, and they are tantalizing, because who wouldn't want to buy a home that's listed now for, say, $500,000 and pick it up for $300,000 in a year. I understand the allure of these videos, but again, it's not data driven. It's not doing you any good to wish for a $200,000 price reduction that's not coming. Hey, I wish that I could buy Bitcoin for $5, but that's probably not gonna happen. If you are looking to purchase, but you've kind of been on the sidelines hoping for mortgage rates to come down, my advice would be this. I know it's uncomfortable, but if you truly are ready to purchase a home, you're probably better off purchasing now rather than waiting later. When interest rates come down, there's so much pent-up demand that is going to re-enter the marketplace. It really is the question of, would you rather refinance a home that you already have, or would you rather compete against more home buyers for the same home that's now a little bit more expensive? Again, this is not a video that is meant to tell you that now is the absolute perfect time to buy. The perfect time to buy is when you are ready. So if you are ready, I hope that this data-driven approach can be helpful to you as you enter 2024.